Простомол помогает устранить симптомы хронического простатита и аденома простаты.
Как ты себя чувствуешь?
Прекрасно. И я принимаю простомол.
Простомол. Просто будь мужчиной.
Олег Колодий, Украина. Прыжок 2,5 оборота вперед из задней стойки в группировке. Коэффициент сложности 3,1. Прыжок с передним вращением, с передним входом. Но коэффициент сложности, дорогие друзья, на единицу больше, чем у Молчанова. Хорошее начало. Легко выкручивает свой элемент Олег Колодий. Открывается через угол и немного не доходит.
К сожалению, ничего у него не получилось. И мы выстраиваемся на красных сигнальных огнях. Должны загореться и потом погаснуть. И это будет старт первого увертюрного заезда 6-го этапа чемпионата мира в классе кузовных автомобилей.
Майк Хиксон, Соединенные Штаты Америки. 2,5 оборота назад в группировке. Тот же самый элемент, который исполнял Илья Молчанов.
skiers go together to really fly this shot out to way beyond 22 meters, as you can see. 22.47, his best performance overall. It was absolutely a meeting record, of course. It was the 6th and final, but he had 3 throws over 22 meters, over 22.20.
Well, that was his third round throw of 22.44, and that was the top 3. And then last round, Ryan Whiting.
Да, что-то у Конрада не все получается в рамках этапов бриллиантовой лиги. В общем-то, спортсмен, мы знаем, очень высокого класса. Спортсмен, который может противостоять самым опытным соперникам. Хотя сам Буковецкий 97-го года рождения. Но вот именно на бриллиантовой лиге в этом сезоне пока он не выглядит каким-то сверхвпечатляющим. Но рассчитываем на него, конечно, на чемпионате мира. 22.47. Еще лучший результат у Райана Кроусера. И он победитель этих соревнований. Ричард становится вторым с национальным рекордом. И Уайтинг на 3-й строчке. Буковецкий 4-й. Фото на память. Здесь же Хилл. Здесь же и Элемба, и Биркенхед, и Романи. А вот и белоруска Татьяна Холодович. Единственная белоруска, которая принимает участие
аргентинского заезда.
The sprinters, men's 100 meters, that call-up room is right at the top of the home straight. There's the sprinters already out there. Cracking field we have as well. Sharandi Martina, Tando Roto, more of him in a second. Then we've got Bingchan Su, CJ Ujar of Great Britain. He's joined by Nathaniel Mitchell-Blake.
До своих лучших показателей 10.08 в этом сезоне, а вообще в карьере 9.86. Биджей Ли, американец, просит поддержки публики. 10.05 в этом году. Я думаю, должен улучшать. 9.99 было в карьере. Из тех, кто здесь участвует, лучшее время в сезоне у Тандо Рота. Но Уджа нам показывают. И спортсмены готовы. Готовы бежать. Кристиан Колман, лидер мирового рейтинга. 9.82 его результат. 7 июня в Юджине он показал. А Джастин Гэтлин, рекордсмен этих соревнований, в 2012 году показал здесь 10.12. Я думаю, что вполне по силам некоторым спортсменам этот рекорд побить уже сегодня. Почему бы и нет? 10.12 вполне результат рабочий. Просят спортсмены. Сразу несколько, кстати, просят перенести старт. Что-то пошло не так. Ну, еще раз придется подготовиться. Тут наклеечка отклеилась. Ну, что-то не так. Сразу втроем подняли руки. Да, это правилами не запрещено. Митчелл Блейк крупным планом. Еще раз приглашают в колодки. Видим, что на трибунах здесь хватает свободных мест. Но, тем не менее, некоторые сектора заполнены, не заполнены до отказа. Ну, там на закруглениях арены, где в секторах проходят соревнования, я думаю, там же и копье, я думаю, там же и ядро. И вот там скопление людей, конечно, побольше. Но где стартуют стометровки, всегда людей хватает. И смотрите, как здорово. Уджа идет очень хорошо, но борьба, вы посмотрите, какая борьба. Как здорово сейчас Уджа и Мейте сражались. Хороший забег, плотненький. И результат 9:98. Это новый рекорд турнира. Да, я не сомневалась нисколько, что сейчас он будет побит. Мейте на второй позиции 10:01 показывает. 10:18 у Митчелла Блейка, он на третьей строчке. И Бинтян Су на четвертом месте 10:19. Всего 1/100 проиграл Митчеллу Блейку. Синхронно стартанули, ровненько все попали в стартовый сигнал, никто его не опережал. И вот эта пара, которая вырывается вперед, на самом деле очень хороший отрыв они себе на 100-метровке создали. И мне кажется, чуть-чуть не доработал Мейте. Вот продержись он еще несколько сантиметров, все было бы совсем по-другому, поскольку, вот еще раз в замедленном повторе хорошо видно. Он уже бросается на финишную линию, но это рано. Итоговый результат, да, единственный спортсмен, кто смог выбежать из 10 секунд, это Уджа. Но, конечно, справился с этой дистанцией очень неплохо. Ну и обновляет он рекорд, который Джастину Гэтлину принадлежал. Причем сбрасывает с этого достижения сразу 14 сотых. Ну, для 100-метровки это много. Барбара Шпотакова, одна из главных соперниц Татьяны Холодович. Ее попытку нам сейчас показывают. Я думаю, что это ее первый выход в сектор. Сражались Шпотакова и Холодович в рамках командного чемпионата Европы в Суперлиге. Там Шпотакова лучше его отработала и выиграла. Хорошая попытка. И видим, что перекрывает она результат Татьяны Холодович. И перекрывает его достаточно серьезно. 60-64 у Татьяны. И сейчас покажут нам результат Шпоткова. Я думаю, за 63 метра. Под 64 будет этот показатель. Не забываем еще о присутствии Мадары Паламейки. 63-73. Довольно Шпотакова. Вообще в сезоне 68-26, а в карьере 72 метра и 28 сантиметров. Вы только подумайте. 72-28 у Татьяны Холодович, для сравнения, 66-34 лучший результат в карьере. А в этом сезоне 66-30. То есть она выходит на тот самый пик, когда может уже повторять свои лучшие достижения и их превосходить. Сейчас Мартина Ратай в секторе попытку совершила, и тоже видим, что результат неплохой. Скорее всего, опередит она Татьяну Холодович. Да, опередит 100%. Хорошая попытка. Это ее второй выход в сектор. 62 метра 46 сантиметров. Да, от Холодович она таким образом отодвигает на третью строчку.
Топ-турниром четырехлетия могут быть не только Олимпийские игры. Виды спорта и дисциплины, которые не входят в программу Олимпиад, но привлекают не меньше внимания. От спортивных танцев до муай-тай. Каждый день мы будем рассказывать о главных событиях на аренах Вроцлава. Всемирные игры на телеканале «Беларусь-5». Смотрите видеодневники турнира.
Lausanne, remember him celebrating, and with Sam Kendricks so well after a new national record he set there. So looking forward to a good competition. The early stages here. They slip 5:40. Caraviglio from Argentina. That's a nice clearance. Had her first time at 5:20. Came in at 5:20 and 5:40. Only 2 or 3 of the vaulters came in at 5:20 for a little bit of a sighter, including this man. So Caraviglio goes clear and into an early lead. And plenty of room there for him. Yeah, this is what it looked like. Can you do that? Are you allowed to do that? Well, what a year, as I said, what he's had to deal with and everything that happened and the emotions of that incredible night in Rio. No wonder Thiago Braz has just been struggling a little bit. And again here, that's 5:40, first attempt, his first vault of the competition. Some adjustments to be made there. Doesn't look like a happy camper, does he? So Braz. Yeah.
Well, Steve, Braz is a 5.86 indoors, and he's nowhere near that outdoors at the moment at 5.60, and he's really had a lot of injuries and a lot of problems in the way here. Well, as Steve promised, the men's 800 metres, and what a lineup it is indeed, and it'll be a very competitive race indeed. There is the lineup. Bet, Amos, of course, has been going well. Som is the pacemaker right on the outside. Bram Som of the Netherlands always does a good job. Will take them through around about 49.5. And then Nigel Amos. Amos of Botswana won in London in 1:43.18. He really has had a very poor start to the season, but come good. Now, as a 19-year-old, World Junior Champion last year, but my goodness, he's made an impact this year. Best of 1:44.04 in Nairobi this season. Rotich, well, Ferguson Rotich won the Diamond League last year, and he obviously has a chance of getting into the World Championship team. Brazier won the American title, national champion, 1:43.95, set in London just recently. And then Biwott and Kip Coach, the two sharing the lane 3. And this is Brandon McBride of Canada, 1:45.23, won the national title with that, 3 times his national champion. And then Mustafa Smiley of the World Junior Championship bronze medalist last year, right on the inside. 2 laps of the track for newcomers. And Bet, well, it's come on since he won that World Junior title. Let's see who, in fact, makes the real headway into that back straight. Amos really has been charging to the front and establishing the tenor of the race. McBride's in 2nd place, Brazier in 3rd place, and then you've got Bet and the rest trailing at the moment. This looks pretty quick indeed, and Amos, Steve, once again has taken it on, and this time Brazier, the American, not letting him away too far, and nor is Bet.
Well, Amos is really getting back to his best, isn't he? It's taken him a while, but he's a massive talent, and with that confidence has been building, that's why he's doing this. He's asked Som to go out really hard. Som's pretty good at hitting the mark, but he's trying to get out pretty quick here, sub 50. They're well spread out, but Brazier's within range here, but I'd like to see him commit a little bit more, get a bit closer to Amos.
Well, certainly now, and Amos, who had that magnificent run in 2nd place behind Rudisha back in the Olympics of 2012, sub 1:42, and he's all of a sudden come of age this season. We had a very poor start. He was running 1:47s, 1:48s, And now, of course, Bet has got him in his sights, the former junior champion, and then McBride's behind him, and coming through also is Brazier, making some headway as they go with just 200 metres to go. Amos is under threat this time from Bet. Can he hang on this time? Amos leads, Bet in second place, Brazier in third, McBride in fourth. And then the youngster right on the inside is started Shmali of Morocco, the 20-year-old, going very strongly. But here comes Amos again, and Bet in second place, and once again Brazier in third. They're going to end up there. It's going to be a quick one again. Amos, Bet, Brazier, 1:43.91. And Steve, it's becoming a habit now, isn't it? This winning habit. But the way he's running them, he takes it on. He lacked that confidence at the beginning of the season, but my goodness, in recent races, he's really set himself up and gone for it. He's not afraid to be in the front. He knows he's in the past, got good times, and he's building on it back to the championships. Very impressive.
Yes, very impressive, Stuart. And you know, he sucks them in. What he does is he's taking it out hard. He's inviting them to go with him. When he knows he's as strong as this, he knows he can cope with that. Then what he does is he slows the third 200, and then everyone thinks, oh, I've got you here, and start to close in. You saw how much ground. But Brazier had to make too much ground. You know, you can't set off when the field is this good. I mean, he's running well. He's a young guy. He's 20. He's a massive talent, the American, and he's going to get better, particularly at this level. Bet's a massive talent as well. But Amos then goes away, you know, and he comes into the home straight. The arms are flailing. It's the action we love to see, isn't it? But he's just got that ability at the moment, that, as I said, that strength allows him to do that. And that's a hard way to run it, you know. Go out hard, slow, and then go again. And the others are chasing him. As I said, he sucks them in because they think, oh, we've got you here. But then he's got another gear to change up to with 150 to go, 120 to go. So well done to him.
And there's the
IAAF Diamond League on Eurosport, sponsored by athleticsweekly.com.
good balance, and that is around about 14 and a half. That is 14:02, 14:31. That's better. 14:02. That was the third round, of course. The second round was a no jump.
So Bargwen, the lead slender after Kimberly Williams is based in Birmingham, trains with Aston Moore, and within 2 centimetres of the Olympic champion. Now at Bargwen, round 3. Massive middle phase from her. That's better. Maybe not as far as she wants. She knows it's an improvement though. White flag right on the board. Yeah, very good indeed. 1 centimetre to spare. So the range she has here. Just maybe decelerated a little bit. holds it together so well. Huge step there. Well, they bargain. 14.51 in the third round, extending her lead.
Rypakova. Well, Rypakova, the Olympic champion, of course, in London, was twice Olympic Games bronze medalist, incidentally, last year and in Beijing in 2008. She's been around a long time now. She's 32. This season, 14.64 she achieved in Rome. That was on the 8th of June. The personal best was in Split in 2010, 15 meters and 25. So she's been there and looking now to challenge. Not quite as good that time. Always a little bit backward, not quite getting over the takeoff foot. A little bit of backward rotation throughout the whole of that phase, and really not powering herself into the pit. So she'll suffer a little bit with that. But Ibargwin, the winner at 14.51. Well, there it is, 14.51. Williams took second, 14.31. Papachristou, 14.21, with that jump that you saw. Gleadle in the javelin. Just waiting to settle into this throw.
Well, it's busy down there, Stuart. The men's high jump is in fairly early stages at this point, and women's javelin into the third round. Gleadle just waiting. The women's steeplechase will be starting shortly as well, so javelin throwers have to get their throws in between the laps as well.
Yeah,
here she goes.
Third round throw. 60.43 her best so far. Now then. Oh, that's way down, isn't it? Way down.
Conditions when the sun just starts to go down. The meet is a couple of hours later than last year when it was held here for the first time, the Diamond League, and it was obviously very hot. It's almost perfect in terms of temperature, a little bit humid, but it's pretty dead air. There's a bit of air you can see. The flags blowing on the top of the stands, but down there on the track there is not a breath of wind, and I'm sure javelin throwers not enjoying that too much. But is Spatakova?
Yes, Spatakova really 63.73 in the first round. But let's go back to the steeplechase. We'll come back to Spatakova.
Yeah, she might just have to wait. If she does throw, I'm sure we'll see it. This steeplechase about to get underway. Late withdrawal of Ruth Chebet, the Olympic champion, a real disappointment, had to pull out this week. She had that injury she picked up, if you're watching the Diamond League in Paris a couple of weeks ago, when she fell coming out of the water jump, hasn't recovered from that. Kesa Krause, fresh from a double at the German Championships in this, her main event, and indeed the 5,000 meters. New personal best this year, set in Doha at the beginning of the year. Krause in good shape. There's young Nyavi, just 17, big talent. Geruto should go well here. To talk more about them once we get into the race. That's Stephanie Garcia of United States, Chepin Gaitich, Sidi Medane from Morocco, close to new personal best this year. 28, she ran in France recently. 17-year-old Katema from Ethiopia on the inside. So 7.5 laps of the track and a little bit of the water jump on the inside. So where they go, the women's steeplechase. Garcia just moving to the front. They've been asked to set a pace of 3 minutes 4, which is reasonably swift for this field, given that none of them have run under 9:10. So the pacemaker Caroline Twigong, who did pace that race very well in Paris, that very quick, it was a great field, a stellar field in Paris, wasn't it? And they will be coming round, just settling down in front of us. Twigong started fairly quickly, but she's at least keeping an eye on where everybody is. Doesn't want to go too quickly, doesn't want to hair off and find nobody's gone with her. So a smart thing there, the field just gradually settling in behind her. Krause, the German, perhaps the favourite here. She certainly would think this is a race that she can win. just at the back of the pack, as you can see, with just the 17-year-old, well, two 17-year-olds actually in this race, the Ethiopian at the back. The other 17-year-old, Yavi, if you're watching the Oslo Diamond League, you may remember she's the one who went off course. Oh, and she's actually stumbled into that barrier, the young 17-year-old, right at the back. There she is. She was pacemaking in Oslo and missed out the water jump, went around the outside, then came back in and took out the Sept, who was one of the favourites in so doing, bless her. But she's got herself back involved here.
I must admit, I sometimes wonder why the pacemaker actually has to go over there. But meanwhile, the world champion in the pole vault in action here, Sean Barber, at a no vault, his first vault, 540 the height is attempting here. Yep. Well, Barber, that was his second attempt as at 540. Won the world title in Beijing. That looked a good clearance, actually. And national champion again this year. Was fifth in Eugene and third in Paris, just to give you an update. But he did win the national title. This fella, well, Holtz-Depper, it's his third and final attempt at 5 meters and 40. So he's really got a bit of pressure on here. Now, Holtz-Depper is world champion in 2013, silver medalist in 2015, and needs this. Oh, and he's got it. Let's say it was ragged. It was nothing beautiful about that, but the end result is a clearance, a third attempt clearance. Of course, but he charged in there, desperation on the top. Look at that. He's left hold of the pole and just flowed over the top. That's a good clearance in the end. He's capable of so much more. He's a 5.94 man at his best.
Well, the two pacemakers, I'm not even sure if Twigong, she's let Gatone, the 19-year-old, go to the front. Twigong's, you know, not a bad steeplechaser herself, maybe thinking, you know what, I'll be happy to just tuck in here. So she's in second place behind Gatone. Crowds are just getting a little bit closer there. Geruto leading the rest of the pack. Also right up there, Sidi Mandane, the local athlete from Morocco. Yavi moved up there, the youngster. 3.6 through the first 1,000 meters, so it's pretty good pace. And we lose the first pacemaker, so Twigong will try and take it on here. I say we lose the first pacemaker, she just joined back in again. Oh, goodness me.
Yeah.
So Twigong will try and pick it up now. That pace, I think it's about right, actually, for these women. To go out and sort of, you know, 9... if they pick up the last 1,000, they're going to end up in the mid-teens, which would be great. Crowds, as I said, a personal best set earlier in the year in Doha. Crowds are actually, you know, prepared well for the beginning of the season, but she normally is in Kenya. I've seen her there with the British athletes before, the German squad in E10, but she went to Ethiopia for the first time and really didn't like it, and called an end to that trip and headed off back down to for the start of the season, and was rewarded with that big race in Doha.
I was talking about Garcia with Tim Hutchins, our colleague, this morning, and he said he was out at the American Championships and she had a terrible time. Really falling over, having difficulty with the hurdle. So this is very much a get back in the confidence, but she's way down the field at the moment, is Garcia. 9.25 her best this season, and you're right, they're on around about in the mid-teens, 9, probably 14, 15 something. It may well improve a little bit as we get to the finish and we get a little bit of pace on the finish, but certainly Garcia way off the pace again here.
So Twigong still leading, then Geruto in second place. Young Yavi has moved up again. Crowds are just hanging on, and Sidi Madane, the Moroccan, just struggling as the gap appears back to Stephanie Garcia of the United States. The pacemaker doing the best to just try and keep this pace on a little bit, attacking the barriers. He's probably hurdling his best, as good as anybody out there, to be honest. So still plenty in with chances, and in fact Garcia's managed to get back onto the back of that pack just about. Let's see how they negotiate this. Twigong, Geruto, a little bit of a push there. Sidi Mandane just looking for a little bit of room ahead of her.
Well, here's the Olympic champion, Thiago Braz, a third and final attempt at 5 meters and 40, and really it's finding it very tough to get back to the form we know he has, and he's gone from the competition. And I began by saying he's only got a 5.60 outdoors and a 5.86 indoors, but remember, this is the man that cleared 6 in the Olympic final, and really was a very surprise winner there. He's on home soil in Rio and really performed well. You can see the potential there. He's got the height. He just drops down onto the bar. So the timing not quite right at the moment. He's had his injuries, he's had his problems, and he really is struggling to get back.
So Tweegong still out in front, still pacing, still setting them off on a decent pace. Now just moves aside for the first time. So Geruto, as they approach the 2,000-meter mark with still 2.5 laps to go, leading from Chepengaitic. Krauser on the inside, the youngster Yavi trying to hang on to these. And then a little bit of a gap just appearing again to Sidi Madane. And Kirui and Garcia tantalizingly close to this lead pack. They just can't get themselves back to them. And just see if Geruto just picks the pace up a little bit here. There was 6:19, has slowed a lot, 3:13 for the second 1,000 meters. So they're heading well outside 9:20 pace, but all of a sudden Geruto just starts to pull the others away. Krauser going with it, and as I said right at the very beginning, Krauser will have looked at this field. She knows how good these two are. They're not the best, but she knows they're very good at a world level. But we'll be thinking, if I'm to replicate winning a medal at the World Championships, which she did a couple of years ago, what a performance that was, then she wants to be able to contend and contest with these two Kenyans.
Yeah, it's going with the script, really, Steve, isn't it? It's, you know, looking at the field and looking at the big names not here in the form of Chep Sol and Kieng and Chep Koech and Ruth Jabet, who we've mentioned earlier. I mean, the field is now, the depth in this event is getting bigger and bigger. Certainly it's young in terms of its appearance, as I've said before, in the Olympics and the World Championships, and the depth is now coming. And so they are beginning to believe that 9 minutes is a pace to beat. But here, as you say, they're on around about 9:20-ish as they come into the latter stages of this race.
Krauser attacking that water jump, finding some room on the inside, and gets ahead of Geruto for the first time, because they're coming round on the penultimate time of this barrier in the home straight. They'll be hearing the bell once they get over this. So it's Krauser leading. These two had a great race, actually, in that first race in Doha. They were within a couple of tenths of each other. Chepengaitic, her season's best goes all the way back to Shanghai Diamond League. So 3 of them in it with 400 meters to go. Geruto once more goes back to the front. The African champion from 2016, ahead of Krauser. Krauser has got a little bit of pace at the end as well, but she knows that she has to just find the right position here to make sure she can attack in the last 200 meters, perhaps waiting until after the water jump. Just looks a little bit stressed there, the German. Chepengaitic looking dangerous on the outside of her teammate, Geruto. Chepengaitic, just 20 years of age, the former world youth champion over 2,000 steeplechase. Big talent, plenty of Kenyan women wanting to show that this is their event. But it's Geruto and Chepengaitic from Krauser, still trying to hang on to these two. Has she got anything left? She's going to attack on the inside again. Comes through the water jump better. Chepengaitic comes to a stop almost. Loses 3-4 meters. Krauser kicking hard from the front. Geruto not with an answer yet, but there's one more barrier still to go. And the German putting daylight between her and the others. A little stutter, but good technique over the last barrier. Krauser's going to take the win here. Geisa Krauser. Great win, gets it under 9:20. That's a brilliant performance from her. Perhaps signifying that there's more to come as well. It was hard work as she approached the last lap, but I said she's got a kick. Said that she's perhaps got the better technique as well. You put those two things together, if you can just hang in there long enough. And the best thing for her is that she won the race. You're winning at this level in a decent time, under 9:20. Yes, it's not, you know, it's not under the 9 minutes or anything, but in this company, good performance from Krauser.
She can hurdle, Steve. She can really hurdle, and that tactic off the barrier of the water jump was absolutely brilliant. She took her on and then really attacked into that. Watch this on the inside. Look, there's a space on the inside. She takes it and all of a sudden accelerates out there. But look at her technique when she comes. There it is again. A good, wonderful on the inside. And now when she comes into the straight, lovely hurdle technique. She has time to size it up. Look at that. Beautiful. That's absolutely super in comparison with Geruto's technique, which is almost jumping across. Great performance, great run, and very competitive race, and well judged by Krauser of Germany.
Well, it's her third best time ever. It was just a tad slower than she ran in Rio de Janeiro. 9:18.87. Geruto second, Chepngetich third with a personal best. So did Sidi Midane. You'd think, though, they would have learnt their lesson on the penultimate lap. She did exactly the same. Didn't shut the door, allowed her through. Result might not have changed anyway, because, as you said, she just had a little bit more barriers.
Well, actually, you've got to look at the home straight there. As you look at Warren Weir is coming up in the 200 metres next, the Jamaican, the World Championship silver medalist from Moscow. There's de Grasse, who really is looking to be the man once Usain Bolt leaves the stage. It's not going to be easy. Yohan Blake was here, incidentally, and is here, but he had a little bit of a twinge, a groin twinge, and said, I don't want to risk it. It's not a serious injury. I don't want to risk it. So he's pulled out of this race, and really...
So Protsenko in the men's high jump. In fact, we're going to see Tamberi first. So it's been advancing decently. No, we're not. Protsenko. Oh, that's nice. You saw there he's been came in at 2:15 on his second time clearance at 2:19. Bar at 2:23 here. So Protsenko. So a quick glimpse of Robbie Grabars, Tamberi. Good to see him back. Good opportunity for all of these men here to get a Diamond League win. No Barshim. And this man, what a season he's having. The German, Matthias Frisblico. 2:35 recently, and a couple of 2:30s as well. Erfoot backed it up, and it stands off a lot, doesn't it? Well, he's in the form of his life. First time clearances, that puts him in the lead actually early stages. As I said, 2:23 the bar at. Frisblico, Polish mum and dad, born in Germany, and they've found themselves a high jumper. He's 25 at 2:35. Moved him right up the German all-time list, 5th, I think, on the all-time list, and well up the world rankings this year. This is Ivanov. It's better. And the first time clearance, he waited until 2:23, the Bulgarian, to come in. A little bit risky, a lot later than any of the others. Grabars came in at 2:19, the Brit, clearing that. So Ivanov. Here is Grabars. Look nice at 2:19. One failure, 2:23. Second attempt. That's better. Nice. Well, he may rue that failure as the competition goes on, but as I said, still early stages. 2:23. And he'll want to replicate his London achievement in 2012 in front of a home crowd in that Olympic Stadium in just a few weeks' time. Well, Tamberi has had an incredible journey back after that horrific injury which kept him out of Rio when he was... That's a nice clearance. Tamberi still saying every clearance at the moment I'm enjoying, and look, he's such a crowd pleaser, and that night in Monaco I think he could try and do 2:41. He already had one national record, and that's when he picked up the injury, which he had surgery again in the winter, I think in January. But the slow journey back, he started the season only clearing 2:18, but now he's back up to 2:28 before tonight, and that's his clearance at 2:23. Former world champion Donald Thomas of Bahamas. He goes clear at the third attempt as well. It's only 2:23.
Yeah, so, early days.
Early days. But good that most of the big names are clear. Bondarenko pulled out of this event, as indeed Barshim as well. It was a real shame. This was shaping up to be a really good men's high jump. Women's 1500, there's Brenda Martinez and Shannon Robury, those two going in different events to the World Championships. Robury qualified in the 5,000 metres, Martinez in the 800 metres in the US trials, coming together in the 1,500 metres tonight. That'll be up next after the next event on the track, the men's 200 metres. Nora Waitman, the British champion, Hilali, 5 Moroccans in there, I think.
Well, now we come to the men's 200 meters, and there is the lineup. It's a tough one, as one would expect at this stage, approaching a major championships, with Andre de Grasse in the middle lane 5, and right on the outside, of course, as is often the case, Gerandi Martina of the Netherlands, 5 times an Olympic Games finalist. He's been around 20.27 in Paris this year, his best of the season. And then we've got Fred Kerley, 400 meter specialist, won the national trial over 400 meters in America, 44.03. He's a big, solid citizen, isn't he? And Ahye of South Africa, he's only 19. He's got a season's best and a personal best, 20.10. So the South Africans are turning them out now. Andre de Grasse, Olympic silver medalist, twice Olympic Games bronze medalist, and he really is a man. And right inside him is Ahye Webb of the United States, 20.09, won the trial at 20.09 into a 2.3 meter headwind, so that was pretty tough. And this is Warren Weir of Jamaica, 27 now, World Championship silver medalist in Moscow. He was 3rd in the national championships in Jamaica, incidentally, in 20.39. And Dwyer, right on the inside, that's Rashid Dwyer, Jamaica, 20.11, his season's best, Commonwealth Games 200 meter winner in 2014. And right on the inside, 5th in London, 20.33, 4th in the national championship trials. So, the men's 200 meters. Hughes, Dwyer, Weir, Webb, de Grasse, Ahye, Kerley and Martina. Away this time. Well, inside de Grasse, Weir got away well, and right on this inside, Dwyer of Jamaica going strongly. De Grasse has got a lot of work to do. He's right on the inside of de Grasse is Ahye Webb, and now comes de Grasse charging through the inside, and de Grasse is going to take this one, and he takes it in the end. He gets it there ahead of Ahye Webb, who really dominated on the bend. Powerful 20, that's a meeting record, 20.03. And he didn't have the best bend, but his transition was good, and once he started to get into the straight, he looked so flowy. He looked totally in control, and certainly he stood up to the pressure that Webb put on him, because Webb, the big powerful man inside him, the lane inside, came past him, but it didn't faze him. He sat in and he gradually worked his way to the front and took it beautifully. So de Grasse, Webb and Zarmel Hughes, what a good run he had right from the inside.
Yeah, Hughes ran very well in lane 1. Looked at one point so he might get on terms with, certainly with Webb. I'm still waiting for, am I going to be a bit harsh here? I'm waiting for something from de Grasse. You know, we keep hearing how good he is, and you want to see that sub-20-second consistency. And his bend, he was very good at this point of the race. This is his best bit of the race. He should have been, for me, in a better position coming off the bend. You know, Webb's a great athlete. Hughes had run it. You know, he's in lane 1. He's run a good bend. And, you know, he maintains well, hangs on to 3rd spot there. It's a good field, this. It's a very good field. Fred Kerley, the American, who's running brilliantly at 400 metres, of course. But I would just like to see him dominate a bit more. De Grasse, if he's to be a real gold medal contender, if he's to be the one that everybody's going to look to, everyone's going to go, he's the man to beat, just want a little bit more. Others are starting to run quicker 200 metres. Admittedly, McQuarrie and Van Niekerk, who are 400 metre runners, are running quicker, but just want de Grasse to step up. You know, it's time yet. It's the middle of July, and he's probably, him and his coach are going to say to me, be patient. So yeah, let's be patient.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the two 400 metre men head the 200 metre rankings at the moment, as you said. But he looked comfortable at the end, but you're quite right. There's nothing exceptional yet, but he did enough to win quite well.
Okay, men's long jump early stages. This is Quanera, and long jump, of course, in such rude health at the moment. Men's long jump is a cracking event, which is being dominated by the South Africans. Quanera here was the top man, no longer. And Younger, who's sadly been injured. He got injured in Stockholm, didn't he? But Quanera in the early stages here, getting close to the 8-metre mark.
IAAF Diamond League on Eurosport, sponsored by athleticsweekly.com.
This is Caraviglio. Been a while since I saw him in the pole vault. Well, that was 5.50. We saw him clear 5.40. A perfect start to the competition for the Argentinian. 3 first-time clearances. And he's not the name you would have in there to win this, but of course it's early stages in the men's pole vault. He's loving watching himself, though. I don't think I've ever seen that. It's a sign of the times, isn't it? The officials say, yeah, this is... You want a selfie as well while we're here?
Well, 5.50, first attempt for the reigning world champion. And I just wonder whether he can do a little better this time. Took him a couple of attempts at 5.40. Yep, worked hard at the top. And Sean Barber, the Canadian champion again this year, it's got a season's best at 5.71, incidentally, so really drives that pole in. Has to work hard at the end, though, but it was a good clearance. A little bit of a drift, but not too bad.
Well, on the far side of the track, the women out for the 1,500 metres, 14 athletes, one pacemaker in there. And again, a pretty open race here. A couple of America's top athletes will go through them. Qiang's been at it late. Now, you know, she ran 4.4 in the Kenyan Championship, so I can't believe she's going to be there for the pace, although there are rumours that Nelly Jepkoskai wants a quick pace. Jenny Meadows has been asked to go through in 2.728. Here's a Rafi, good form again, the best of the Moroccans. Rumoured wants to get the pace moving a little bit. Yeah, I think it was her birthday this week and said, I'd like to run under 4 minutes. It's not that easy. She's 4-2 at her best. It's a very competitive women's 1500 meters here. So there they go. Jenny Meadows in the all blue on the outside will look to come across and set this pace for at least 800 meters, maybe up to 1,000 meters. And it looks like the Moroccan Rafi, who's just slotted in very, very quickly behind Jenny Meadows. Shannon Robury got up there, can't resist it. And others just being a bit stretched out. Jenny's gone off pretty quick through this first 200 meters. And the crowd getting excited with Rafi in second place, Robury, Kieng, Laura Waitman, and Jet Koskei just moving up on the outside as they come through 300 meters completed, 3 laps to go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Shannon Robury. She hasn't had a particularly good season thus far, but she is a 3-time Olympic Games 1500 meters finalist, isn't she? And really, she has the credentials. 4:05 this season, her best, or rather 4:01.61. I'll get it right in a minute. 4:04.61 this season. But of course, she's a 3:56 competitor at her very, very best, and that was in 2015.
Jenny Meadows perfectly right on the nose, 63.4 for the first 400 meters. Then it's Rafi, then it's Robury, then Martinez, then Waitman. On her shoulder is Kieng, and then Jet Koskei. Tucked on the inside is Hikotska, the fast finishing pole. She'll never go near the front until towards the end. So Jenny Meadows doing a grand job here. They just need to make sure that gap doesn't build, because Rafi may well just slow the field up behind her. Jet Koskei on the outside, Martinez, they're beginning to queue up there. Jenny Meadows just watching to try and see if they can coax the field with her as they come round with 2 laps to go, and just a little bit of a gap between Rafi and the pacemaker. She's wanting to control this, control the rest of the field, if you like.
Yeah, I guess they're running around about 4:03, but it will speed up a little bit towards the end as we get into this part of the race. And of course, the pace, as we said, Martinez now looking to get a little bit closer up front. And I think that just looking at the way the field is bunching, it might well have slowed a little bit down the back straight, Steve.
Well, it slowed on that second lap, and it's now slowed again. Laura Waitman of Great Britain, they're itching to go, and they really are all bunching here. Rafi was the one who caused a traffic jam behind her, really didn't take the pace. Jet Koskei has moved up just behind the Brit, who's now gone to the front and decided to try and stretch this out now, because they did slow right down. So Brenda Martinez, Kieng is still there, Robury just trapped on the inside a little bit. So is Chihotska, the pole, with no room there. So Laura Waitman leading them as they come round to take the bell, but they've all still got chances here.
Yes, Ahye in second place now. Let's just see what sort of pace they're on now as they come into the bell at just on 3 minutes. I think that this is going to be quicker, and if Waitman can hang on, then, well, who knows? But they're still all queuing up. It can go either way here as the rest. Kieng starts to move up and take closer order.
So Laura Waitman of Great Britain, the British champion, stretching them out in the front now. Rafi then trying to go past her down the back straight, and the crowd respond. Martinez of USA trying to close the gap to those two and bring the rest of the field. Hikotska just moving on the outside now as well. So they're all looking to finish quickly here. But it's Rafi, the local athlete, who's in the front. And then Martinez, and then Chikotska. Waitman just rallying a little bit behind them. But look at the crowd's response to this. Rafi attacking from the front, then Martinez, then Chihotska, then Waitman behind them. And here comes Chihotska doing what she always does, leaves it very, very late, the pole. It's Rafi versus Chihotska all the way to the line. Chihotska gets the win, then Rafi, then Martinez, then Waitman. 4-1 the winning time. They lost the time in the middle of the race, came back strongly at the end, and this is what this young lady's become very good at. She's winning races. I remember doing this in Stockholm last year, and Chihotska is now becoming a real threat in these sort of races. Not necessarily going to contest against Kip Yegon and Hassan and perhaps Laura Muir, but nonetheless, Ciechotska finding a way to win, not panicking when she was stuck, Stuart, in the pack, and then being strong on the last 200 in particular.
Yes, indeed, she certainly knew what she was doing here. Martinez was pretty well spent at this stage, and Ahye had pretty well led for a lot of this race, and in the end paid the penalty. Rochka coming through beautifully. Look at that, she's got terrific momentum to come through past the Moroccan Ahye to take this race. Good run once again, as you say, tactically very sound indeed.
Well, she didn't have to lead quite as extravagantly as she did in the end. But Ahye really went for it, didn't she? You'd expect that in front of a home crowd. And she did a smart thing, really. You know, she held the traffic up. She knew what she was doing. She wanted to try and make it a sprint at the end. She didn't want a flat-out pace. And, well, almost paid off. It's second place for her. Martinez third, and Laura Waitman of Great Britain the close fourth.
Okabari will come forward soon for the 100 meters for women, along with Elaine Thompson, the double Olympic champion, sits there nice and calm, cool and collected. A woman who was challenged by the others in the last race. Barabar is next up in this long jump, his second jump, his first 786. Crowd getting involved with this, aren't they? We listen to the crowd. Lovely hang, very, very straightforward hang technique by Barabar. Moroccan in front of his home crowd here. Now, what's he done? Hits the board perfectly. That's as good as it gets. He got a lovely hang technique. He gets that long position in midair there, and then gets a great leg shoot. And that's an 8-meter jump if ever I saw one. Really attacks the board there, gets the lift. Once you hit the board, how high can you jump? Because you get the length of the jump from that. And that is 8 meters and 14 for Barabar.
So Jarin Lawson of the USA, seeing that the crowd responding to the home man there with that really good effort. So Lawson then second round. Oh, that's a good one. That's huge from Lawson. He just stands up out of the pit as though, well, it was okay. But I think that's going to challenge the lead. As I said earlier, he was fourth there. Look at that, 8:33, and that is a season's best for the American. All legal jumps today, the wind not helping at all, completely still down there. Now then,
what can Samai do? Second jump, first jump 8:21, so he's the man to challenge. Now then, 8:33 is the target. Lovely hitch kick, and that's a good jump too. Now, that looked about the same. He's shy of the board. He didn't get as much of the board as the rest did, or Lawson. Lovely hitch kick. Now I think that's going to challenge the lead. 8:31, 2 centimeters down. Second place.
So Ivanov, who's been playing with fire a little bit in this high jump. Oh, it stays on. Well, 2:27, clear. Well, things warming up in the high jump now. We saw all of the top men. Only Bednarek really wound up expected him to go clear 2:23. He failed the pole. McBride, the American who had a bit of a surprise at the American Championships, he failed as well. But everybody else over 2:23. But now, 2:27, Ivanov. And same for Grasse, second attempt here, 2:27. Oh, that's nice. Grasse looking in nice form here. Nice rhythm going in to the bar. Tied for the Olympic bronze medal in 2012, and wasn't too far away in 2016 either. 2:27, second time clearance for Robbie Grasse of Great Britain. Kratsenko, and he goes clear as well. So 3 men clear. All going clear the second attempt. It's kind of a slightly odd setup for the high jump. It's right tucked in the corner of the quadrant and very close to the finish line, so they're kind of running towards the crowd, but the crowd are really loving this, particularly with Tamberi, the Italian.
Yeah, Tamberi's had a really tough time coming back from an operation at the early part of this year. He's had lots of injury problems, resulted in him having to go into hospital to get himself sorted, and he's gradually coming back. Tamberi, of course, the European champion. Let's have a look. Lovely.
Well, that's almost the season's best for him. He's jumped 228 just recently, which he said was made him think, right, I'm back now. You know, 218, 220 in his 2 competitions before that, but 228 gave him hope. Thomas, 3rd attempt again.
That's great.
Well, you know, he's the shortest of all of the world-class high jumpers, and that World Championship that he won back in 2007. And, well, he's living dangerously here, but goes clear at 227, 3rd attempt after 3 attempts to get over 223.
Yeah, that looked good. He really does hammer into the bar, doesn't he? The shorter men have to do that. And Bilko. Next up. It's getting very respectable now. Oh, lovely. The German, who was a season's best of 235, looking to emulate some of those names of Germany in the past that have reigned supreme.
High jump continuing the bar. We'll go to 229 now. There's Holtstepper in the pole vault. Saw a nice clearance earlier on. 570 now. Oh, he's really in good form. Sorry, 560. First time clearance for Holtstepper after having passed at 550. Just throws the pole out of the way. Rather aggressively, I might say. He certainly had the height there, just almost coming down on the bar, but make sure that he's staying in there. First time clearance.
The women's 100 meters. What a lineup it is too. There it is. You've got the double Olympic champion. You've got all those who are likely to be there or near the World Championship final. There's Christiana Williams of Jamaica. 11:03 this season, was 6th in the national championships, was 6th in Paris as well. Gets an outside lane. And this is Ahye Brown of the United States, 5th in their national championships and 11.15. And her personal best set in the semi-final, 11:01. Okubari, long jumper, sprinter, 6 times the African champion, but so much more. Major championship performer. And Kellyanne Baptiste of Trinidad and Tobago, haven't seen too much of her. She was 2nd in the national championships, in her national championships, I should say. But this is one of the most better known athletes over 100 and 200. The Olympic champion over 100 and 200, Elaine Thompson, Jamaica. Marie-Josee Ta Lou gave her a good run in the last time out. She was 2nd in Paris and 3rd earlier on in Shanghai. She's been there or thereabouts all the time as Ta Lou. And Michelle Ahye of Trinidad and Tobago, 10:82 her season's best. She's always a threat. And Jura Levy of Jamaica, drawn in the 8th lane. She's got set a personal best this season at 11.06. And Daryl Nita of Great Britain, national record holder in the 4x1, of course, in Rio, part of the British 4x1, at 11.14 her best. But so we've got Williams, Brown, Okubari, Baptiste, Thompson, Ta Lou, Ahye, Levy and Nita. The women's 100 meters.
Sorry.
Well, Thompson's got a good start right on the inside. Williams going well right from that lane one. But here comes Ta Lou on the near side, and Thompson comes past her. Thompson wins. Ta Lou in second place. A photograph for third, and it's 10.87, a new meeting record. And my goodness me, that was a good race. It was for half of the race, and then the burners went on. And Elaine Thompson once again shows the sort of class that she has when it matters. She's only going to run the 100 in the World Championships, we're told. So to emphasize on that one race, the rest better watch out, because that is getting very impressive. She has a 10.71 this season, incidentally, but that was very, very impressive indeed. Terrific race. Didn't get the greatest start. Right on the inside, Christina Williams of Jamaica got away like a bullet. But then, when it came to the race proper in the midfield, it was Ta Lou, and then once again Elaine Thompson.
Well, that's a cracking race, wasn't it? And, you know, Elaine Thompson there showed why she's, you know, the Olympic champion as well, because she had to dig a little bit there. I mean, it's hard to say that in 100 metres. Good start. Of course, Williams always gets a cracking start over on the far side. And just pity for her, it's not a 60-metre race. But she gets a good start, Thompson. But look at Ta Lou racing here in the middle of the race. She's going quicker than Thompson. And then she gets alongside, and then Thompson goes, no, you're not winning this. I'm going away again. And Ta Lou, big race from her, really good performance. Season's best for the Ivorian Coast athlete. But I just love Thompson, really, in full flow. Still looks nice and relaxed there. Ta Lou just fighting a little bit. Ahye coming through quickly for third spot, and a close finish there. But just watch this head on here. You'll see why Thompson is the best in the world. She just comes under a little bit of pressure. Somebody comes alongside her. No panic. Just manages to find that little bit extra, but the form doesn't change, and still got that lovely flowing action as she crosses the line. And Thompson, as you've seen, Stuart, rewarded with a new meeting record, 10.87. Now this is the local man, Rabat, in the long jump. Huge cheer for him in the second round. And he's at the end of the runway. This is in the fourth round. He's still in third spot. The lead, Samai with 8.35. Lawson with 8.31. Sorry, 8.33. And Samai had done 8.31 in the second round. The crowd really trying to get behind their man here. Rabat. There he goes. That's a good effort. It's not going to trouble the leaders, though.
IAAF Diamond League on Eurosport, sponsored by athleticsweekly.com.
Here at Enterprise, we have a huge range of cars, vans, and luxury models.
So no matter what you confusing Brits do on the weekend, we've got a vehicle for you.
Need to move some stuff?
We're gonna burn this guy in a bonfire and dance.
Well, we're still waiting for poor Jarian Lawson to work out whether he's got an attempt or not. There's the discussion that's going on. I'm really not sure. I suspect he was timed out, and either he wasn't aware or, and as I said, they've moved on in terms of the round, both for Lawson and Samai. We can see down in the arena that it's got tournaires for the start of round 5, and we don't think we've completed round 4.
Yeah, that's right.
There's Costa Semenya, who unusually is going to be going in the 400 meters against the Olympic champion in a little while. There she is. Shaunae Miller. She got married earlier on this year.
Well, this has got to be the longest
long jump
sort of performance, and they are allowing him now to have his 4th round jump at last. His name's gone up onto the scoreboard, and he's got 2 centimeters to make up now, because he's behind Samai by those 2 centimeters. His best 8:33, Samai 8:35. You saw that jump just now. Now then, the American, what can he do on this occasion? Finalist in the long jump, remember, just remind you, 4th in Rio at the 8:25s, come on a bit since then. 8:58 in Eugene last year, incidentally. And that looked good too. He hit the board well. He had been standing out there a long time though, and how much that took the edge off him, I don't know, but certainly we'll see. It's 4th round. 7:99, 8:33, 8 thus far. Good hit on the board. Struck it well. 8 meters and 17. So that's not going to challenge the 8:35 lead, of course. So Samai in 1st, Lawson in 2nd, Rabat in 3rd. That's the score. That's the situation thus far. Well, the race over on the far side, about to get underway, is the 3,000 steeplechase for men, and it's got a very good field indeed. Well, certainly Consensus Kipruto of Kenya is there. But let's just go through 1 or 2 of the names. Sisui of Morocco right on there. There's Kibiwat, incidentally. Kenya. Baya. El Baki. Now watch out for El Baki. Bakli of Morocco. He could feature here in this race. He's been going well. He won the race in Stockholm. There's Kipruto, the former world junior champion, who's really come good. He still hasn't broken 9 minutes though, and I just wonder whether this might be the time when he has a go at it. We don't know. And there's Yanis Bilech, also of Kenya, who won the Diamond League last year and was 4th in the World Championships in Beijing. But 8:07 this season. Ali Selassie of Eritrea. There's Masoudi of Algeria. Kipsang of Kenya. There's Adouni of Morocco right on the inside. It's a very big field indeed. And if they are going to take this on, then the field will split very early, I would think. But the pace they were looking at was 2:38 for the first 1,000 and 5:23. But so the pace going out very, very quickly indeed. So Susie of Morocco looks to me to be taking this one on. There was no clear declaration who was taking the pace in this race. In fact, if I'm honest, I think we can see where it's going at the moment. Kipsang is the second of the pacemakers, and then of course the champion himself, Consensus Kipruto. Look at that, leading the field at the back. It's very interesting to see what happens now with Birech. Birech is latched onto the back of the Olympic champion.
El Bakali is the tall figure, Stu. He's the one I'm really interested in. I was just talking a few minutes ago, wasn't it, about Moroccan crowd. He's made huge improvement this year. And El Bakali, well, Bakali's quite a quiet character. He looks a little older than he runs with an assurance, really, which his experience really hasn't shown. He hasn't got too many big races under his belt yet. But El Bakali having a great year, so he'll be keeping an eye on Kipruto and the pace. They set off pretty swiftly, as you said. The question is, if Kipruto does what Rafi did in that women's, and indeed the field had gone round because Kipruto was standing up there and blocking everybody, and all of a sudden the rest have gone past.
Well, he certainly has. He's dropped right back into the pack as consensus Kipruto, hasn't he?
I'm wondering if there's something wrong with him.
There's one failure there at the water jump.
Stu, I'm just going to keep an eye on Kipruto because he's slowed right down, and for a while just almost looked to me as either he was limping or he was trying to put a shoe back on. He's allowing lots of people to go past him.
Yes, he is. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Bakali is in, what, 4th place. We go back to the pole vault for the moment.
Well, this is the man who had such a great night in Lausanne, I was saying earlier on, setting a new national record in the Diamond League there for Schiowski. And, he's saving himself a bit this evening because as others are starting to fail, that's the first time clearance at 570. Took 2 attempts to get over 560. And, but now, with that first time clearance, puts himself in the lead. Now, Holtstepper has looked very good up to this point. Bar at 570, second attempt. Ah, yes, there we go. An extravagant fling away of the pole for the German, but he's looked in supreme form here tonight. He is vaulting well. A year when the men's pole vault is shaping up very nicely indeed. And Holtstepper knows got to get up into the 580s, 590s, particularly when they come to the World Championships. Excuse me. So Lisek, Piotr Lisek from Poland, 3rd attempt for him. Oh, and he gets it. Wow. Lisek passed at 565, as did most of them, to be fair. Bar went up to 570, so he becomes the 3rd man to go clear for Schiowski, Holtstepper, and now Lisek. A bit of pressure on Sean Barber.
Well, Kipsang still leading Birech as they come into the home straight here with 4 laps to go once they go through. Bakali going very nicely. I said he won in Stockholm in 8:15, and that's a 3:45. And that is very close to 8-minute pace. He's just outside 8 minutes at the moment, which is very, very useful indeed. And Birech, well, I just wonder whether we'll see him back to the form we saw a couple of seasons ago. But Bakali, in fact, has made a little bit of headway as the laps have gone by, and he latches on to 2nd place. It looks like Haile Selassie of Eritrea, the 19-year-old, behind him. Just looking at, there's another World Junior Championship performer is that young man. He's only 19, but the top 2 are away.
El Bakali just had a little look behind, just checking the gap. He's very comfortable where he is. I think he knows that once Birech is left in front here, he's in a smart position. He needs to be able to hang on though, because it's a good pace, hard pace. Kipsang pushing on, and now Bakali just that 2-3 meter gap to Birech. He's got to make sure that doesn't get any bigger. He is working hard. When they get through 2,000 meters, you know, then you can sometimes lift. You know you're in the last 1,000 meters, and it tends to be where the race slows a little bit just at this point. And that might help the Moroccan just to hang in there. But at the moment, he's having to work very, very hard. Birech looking good, looking comfortable. Kipruto, incidentally, is still going, but he's a good 40 meters behind this lead pack. And he's rallied a little bit, but not having a good day.
No, he's not. And Kipsang on the outside, Birech looking good. And leading the trailing group is Kirui, the 19-year-old, the World Junior Champion last year. And these two are now away.
Well, it's Stuart that went through much slower. They just slowed on that lap there, so it was a 246,000 meters, so they went through in 5:24, and that's what I mean. It's just giving Bakali that lift, if you like. So now he's with Birech. The crowd are getting into this. They're cheering him on. There's 2 laps to go, and when he was hanging on 500-600 meters ago, now he's trying to take the race by the scruff of the neck. So El Bakali knows that Birech can kick. He's no slouch himself, but he's trusting himself to run away from him, and already 2 meters appears.
Yes, it does, and he looks very, very confident indeed, doesn't he? He's gradually made up the distance. He got behind a little bit, but he gradually made up the distance, and it's between Bakali and Birech. I just wonder whether the tall Moroccan with the home crowd can take this one on. Kerley, I think it is in third place, but he's way off the pace at the moment. He looks good, doesn't he, Kerley? The season's best of 8:05. Well, it was around about that sort of time with that slowing. I think there may be, but it'll speed up a little bit towards the end, that's for sure. And wonder what Birch will do now. Will he attack on the water jump? No.
I was just going to say, I'm going to back the guy here because, with this crowd behind him, he's beaten Birch before. And look at that, he's not going to wait here. He's just got to be careful he doesn't get too carried away too early. The crowd are going crazy, but he's hurdling well, this is the main thing, and he's picking up distance off each barrier. And he was smart there. He, again, on the water jump, attacked the Kenyans. Now, as he hears the bell, he's got a good 6-7 metre lead. And starting to look as though this could be a massive victory in front of the home crowd here.
Yeah, but Kerley leads then. Birch in second place. Kerley, the 19-year-old, in third place. Poor national championships, the youngster, despite those fast times. But look at this, Kerley, who promised a lot. He was second in Rome, 8:05. He won Stockholm. He's getting used to winning. And that's good news for the local crowd. And my goodness me, the crowd noise here is emphatic, and he's moving away even further. A fabulous run by the Moroccan. He promised much, and he's delivering. Just over 100 metres to go. The celebration, the personal celebration begins. There's what's the clock. His personal best is 8:05. He's got it. He's looking very close. 2, 8:03, 8:04, 8:05.13. It is a personal best by 4/100ths of a second. Well, it's a personal best. But a great run. Birch in second, Kerley in third. And in the end, it was a competitive race, but I've no idea what happened to the reigning Olympic and world champion.
Well, I've no idea what you said, I understood, because it was so loud. I couldn't hear anything.
No, that's right.
Raising the roof, well, there isn't one. Had there been one, it would have disappeared. A personal best, knocking 500ths off, was rounded down slightly. If he hadn't been waving to the crowd, it could have been a little bit more, but a huge performance. He's putting himself up there as a real contender. No idea. We've heard very different things about Conselsus Kipruto, and he's been very indifferent up and down this year. We thought maybe after he ran so well in Rome that his troubles were behind him, but that is very worrying for Conselsus Kipruto. I wasn't sure whether he got hurt here because he suddenly stopped running, and he then sort of rallied and kept going. But I just wonder whether after another couple of laps of that, he decided to stop. Doesn't matter for this man, though. Massive victory in front of his home crowd.
Well, I have a feeling this celebration will go on for a while. A young man who came here and in front of a home crowd, despite the sparseness of the back straight, there is a big crowd in the stadium, believe me, and they're all round us, so we can hardly hear each other, even with the technology that allows us to do that.
Well, a good thing, when you want to climb into the crowd and climb over some fences, but being a steeplechaser helps. He's got long legs as well, to be honest. Well, he's mobbed there, but he's obviously seen friends. I think he's from the, I have to remember, I looked this up at one of the other meets. It's kind of like the Royal Sports Club, either here in Rabat or Casablanca. I'm not sure. I'd have to check that one out. But anyway, he's a massive hero now in Morocco. Kerley, I said he's meant to be a fairly shy guy, but doesn't look it there.
Well, you remember he was fourth in the Olympics. Now, if he can get a bit better in the World Championships, then that certainly promises well, doesn't it?
It's a good performance from Andrew Bayer from USA, not far off his personal best in fifth. As we move back to the Javelin, the results of that Javelin, we saw early on Kaladovic. This women's javelin, which has been so enthralling this year, some really good performances. Kaladovic early on in the competition. Third round, actually. Wasn't much happened after the third round. She was an early leader. I think this is her first round through, which she took her into the lead at 60-64. This was all early on this evening. Actually, that was the end. 60 meters 70. That was the last throw of the competition.
Well, there is the overall situation with Spatakova once again taking the honours there from Rabat, and here is Rabat. Have a little look at her. Second place in the competition, and that came, well, this is her final round in fact, but she's got 62.46 thus far, enough to keep her into second place, and that will not improve. And so her second round throw, I beg your pardon, of 62.46, enough to keep her in second place overall at the end of the day. The camaraderie, of course. Slovenian, 64.85 this season. She did that in London, actually, and she's in second place overall. But Spatakova back to where we know she belongs, and that is the world record holder at 72.28. And Spatakova 63.73 in the very first round of this competition. The wind conditions, they like a little breeze over the shoulder, and I'm not sure, there doesn't seem to be too much happening out there. They have to work very hard to throw that 600-gram javelin out there, and that's less than 60, so she steps over and a no throw. So her best throw of the first round, 63 meters and 73. There is the performance for you, the run of events, that first throw being the best. 63.73, Rataj 62.46, Gladovic 62.38. There it is, and that's the final result.
Spatakova winning with that 63.73. Not the best of javelin throws, conditions not the best tonight, but a nice little wave, and she's in top form, isn't she? Great to see her back doing so well. Well, the women's 400-meter athletes out on the track already, and this one of the highlights of this evening. Great field here. We'll go through them one by one from the outside, with the Olympic champion taking on Caster Semenya, the Olympic champion at 800 meters. Not often you see this over 400. I don't think it's going to it's only going to go one way, but never mind. Noveline Williams-Mills on the outside, having a bit of a renaissance season as the 35-year-old. Getting close back to 50 seconds again. Well, a very important member of the American 4x4 squad, Courtney Okolo, won the gold medal, helped them with the gold medal. Still just 23, improving all of the time. Hasn't got under 50 this year, did last year. Now we had a bit of a lane change. Hastings was initially going to be in 6th with Shaunae Miller, the Weibo. Shaunae Miller married this year to Estonian decathlete, so Miller Weibo. The name now, and then Natasha Hastings on her inside in lane 5, and then a very good American. I'm pretty convinced this is the first race outside of the USA for Quanera Hayes. Incredible story for her. She's competed at the World Indoor Championships, won a medal there because that was in Portland. So this her first, certainly her first Diamond League, as far as I can see, her first race outside the US, and in great form this year. Won the American Championships under 50 seconds. And there's Caster Semenya, the Olympic champion at 800 meters. Told she's looking for a very fast 800 in Monaco next week in the Diamond League on Friday. So this is an ideal way for her to sharpen up for that. Sherika Jackson, medals in both of the last major championships behind Alison Felix and Shaunae Miller. 2 bronze medals in Beijing and then in Rio. And then Zemlak of Ukraine made the final in the Olympic Games last year. So Shaunae Miller's been in superb form. She ran smashed a world best for the 200 meters in a straight line in Boston. She's run a personal best for the proper 200 meters on the bend. And there she is, looks relaxed. Came in on Friday evening. So Shaunae Miller-Weibo. For Me against Quanera Hayes. This is the big one, the American in lane 4. She reproduced the sort of form she produced at the American Championships, which are on 49.7. Only Alison Felix quicker this year. Caster Semenya will be chasing them in lane 3. Cleanly away. Miller started pretty quickly, and that speed she's got over 200 meters being put to good effect early on here. So Shaunae Miller, the Olympic champion, and Quanera Hayes is certainly chasing her down in lane 4 as well. Natasha Hastings with the long blonde locks in between the two of them, but through 200 meters, it's the Bahamian who's leading it, the Olympic champion, just 23 years of age, trying to chase down on the outside Williams-Mills, who started quickly, and now Hayes trying to get back into this. Caster Semenya miles behind. Zemlak doing well in lane 1, but look at Shaunae Miller-Weibo, got a 3-4 meter lead over the American, who's starting to chase down in the home straight now. But look at this, Shaunae Miller goes away again as Hayes starts to fade, and Hastings is going to take second. But Shaunae Miller-Weibo, look at the time, 49.79. Well, it's not quite a world lead, and it's not even a season's best for her. We'll wait to see what that gets rounded down to. May just a couple of hundredths outside. It's a new meeting record. It's actually gone up a hundredth to 49.80. But what was impressive there for me was she went out hard, certainly. Others tried to go with her, but by going hard then, it looked as though they might just start to make up a little bit of inroad into that lead, but then she went away again in the last 50, 60 meters, or at least was stronger than the others as they faded, Stuart.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that was a very, very quick first 200 meters, and as you said earlier on, she had that 21.91 national record over 200 in Eugene, and that gives her a lot of confidence, and she can run that first 200. I think she was testing herself here, and by the time she got to 300, then she had to work again, and then again, and the margin of victory was what impressed me, not just the time, but the margin of victory in the end ahead of Hastings and Hayes, the two Americans. But she has such class. This is her third 400 meters this season, in addition to that 1-200 in Eugene. So she's being very careful in the way in which she prepares for the championship. But at the moment, it looks very, very good indeed.
IAAF